So before it was always like absolutely terrifying to get on stage or get in front of a bunch of people.
Before starting here, I'd say my skills in public speaking were scattered.
I was very closed. I didn't really want to be the first one called on. I did not want to be called in at all.
The Practice Space is a nonprofit organization that helps youth and adults have a voice and feel a sense of confidence and human connection that is so difficult to find in our daily lives. The Practice Space is located in San Pablo Avenue in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we're all about local communities. Immediately when you walk in, there are signs dedicating each room to a community member who really loved public speaking. Dennis DeJean was a wonderful presenter and a huge personality, and so in this room we have many of our performances, monologues, and practice debates. And on this wall we have many of my former students at El Cerrito High School, where I was a longtime speech and debate coach, and they were really important to decorating this space alongside my sister, who created this mural.
I got to help create some of the space, so it kind of feels like a bit of a second home for me. There, yeah, I think this one's mine. A lot of kids are always saying they need to find a way to find their voice, and talking about how they've been finding that through speech, through the practice space. It's really nice. It's a place where you can make mistakes and it's okay for that.
Stephen Darrow was my dad, and he was always looking for places to connect with people and tell his many, many stories. So in this room, we have our smaller classes on conversation and storytelling. The students really love this space because it feels cozy and like they can be themselves.
The funding mechanism is normal ways and means, and the enforcement agency is the European Union Human Rights.
What's the Wi-Fi password?
You know what I'm saying? Are you writing any of this down? Oh my God, I'm gonna be a first speaker.
If a debate team wants to practice on the weekend, there's generally no place to practice because school is closed. Through the practice space, we've been able to use the space where we can practice, especially a space that has several rooms, so that we can have multiple debates happening at the same time.
My name is Ava Remler, and I'm the first speaker for the negation today. Just to address some of the points brought up by the affirmation, they started by addressing the fact that having more free trade will mean less tax revenue for developing countries. However, this is completely false. First of all, as they brought up, there are other forms of taxation besides international taxations on large business corporations.
Before this, I really liked debate, but I'll be honest, I didn't have a lot of structure in the way I thought about how I talk. But now that I've come here, I've learned how to make good, reasoned arguments and how to present myself, so that when I go into the room, not only am I saying things, which makes sense, I'm saying them in an organized way.
And finally, we have the single undefeated team, which was team number 1, Ava, Parker, and Kanan.
Let's go.
Sandy and Catherine Berman were my debate coaches in high school, and they always took a very personal, individualized approach to working with every student, which is something I like to do as a teacher. In this room, we have our private lessons, where we structure content, analyze conversations, and record podcasts in our sound booth.
My biggest goal was really in selling an idea, to convince people of what it was that I was doing, that it had value, and really the structure that I was given was so straightforward and in a way obvious to me now, but I'd never had anything like that explained to me so clearly.
I took the professional talk and monologue workshop series. So I live with young onset Parkinson's disease. I'm 5 years into it, and that means that at times I'm very stiff in my posture, actually stooped over and with a tremor. Before coming into the practice space, I was hesitant and unsure about next steps in terms of my career. I left feeling confident and that I had a game plan.
People don't come to the practice space to stay here. People come to the practice space to go out into broader spaces, whether that be their homes, their classrooms, their community centers, their churches, their local civic group. That could be their workplace, giving that presentation for the first time. That's one of the values that is upheld here in the practice space, is how do we communicate in such a way that we can have an impact, not just here. And I think the tools necessary is communication.
I was really shy at first. After, it really helped me, and now I think I'm more talkative.
Since Cole's been coming to the practice space, I found him to be much more open to have much more opinions, and I think he's a more confident orator.
I think a lot of us are much more comfortable with public speaking generally, not only in a competitive setting, but also just in everyday life.
Going to the practice space, in my case, allowed me to relax and to trust enough to have the courage to try new things and to believe that I could achieve my goals going forward.